member for Leduc-Beaumont.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I am deeply concerned about people in my constituency who have lost their jobs because of the drop in the price of oil and are still in need of an income to care for their families. The federal government's changes earlier this year to employment insurance was definitely welcome, but they didn't go far enough for my constituents, and they still did not include the Edmonton region. I'd like to ask the Minister of Labour what she and our government are doing to convince the federal government that it needs to do the right thing and include the Edmonton area in these EI changes.
The Honourable Minister of Labour.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. As you know, we were pleased that Ottawa listened to our call to make changes to the employment insurance program. However, we were very disappointed that the Edmonton region was not included. So as well as speaking out publicly about that, I have written to the Minister of Employment, Workforce and Labour, and in that letter, I asked her to revisit the government's decision. I know that our Premier also made the case very strongly when she met with the federal cabinet last week. This is a very important issue to us because it affects families who are facing real hardship through no fault of their own.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Given that many residents of the Edmonton region are feeling real hardship, and given that they have paid into EI and should be able to get benefits when they need them, and just want a hand up, again to the same minister, are there any signs that the federal government may change this policy?
Honourable Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. While I made the case to the Minister of Employment, Workforce and Labour that changes should come immediately, I also asked her to make sure that any changes associated with unemployment statistics be made in real time. Last week, the federal minister indicated to media that Edmonton is one of several regions that could see changes depending on changes in workforce reports, labour force reports. While I would like to see the changes made right away, I see this as encouraging news for Edmonton families.
Second supplementary.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Given that the most up-to-date data can help businesses and other agencies in my constituency plan ahead, I would like to then ask the Minister, when will the next labour force report be released?
Honourable Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The next labour market report will be released this Friday, and we will be looking for any changes in numbers that would make the case that the Edmonton region should be included and that workers who've been laid off during this downturn should be included in the enhanced employment insurance changes.